Early Monday morning, before markets opened, it was announced that BlackBerry, the one-time leader of the smartphone market, had called off its sale plans, and it would remove its CEO, Thorsten Heinz. While a consortium of investors announced an additional $1 billion investment in the company, the market was unimpressed, and early trading saw the shares fall by 16%. Joining me now is the FT's U.S. telecoms editor, Paul Taylor. So Paul, first things first, what happened with the sale?
Well, 6 weeks ago, Prem Watsa, he's the chief executive of Fairfax Financial, BlackBerry's biggest shareholder with about a 10% stake, bid $9 a share or $4.7 billion for the company. It was a tentative bid and he was allowed 6 weeks to take a look at the books and decide whether or not he wanted to go ahead. He looked at the books, failed to raise the money that he needed from other potential investors, and today pulled that bid, instead of which he made this alternative offer that Fairfax and a group of other investors would put a new $1 billion into the company.
The end of the bid comes after nearly 2 years of really aggressive attempt to turn the company around. They brought in the new CEO, Mr. Heinz, who's now departing. They did a number of things. Why didn't this work?
Well, I think the real problem was that BlackBerry lost touch with its user base. The new operating system that they introduced, called BlackBerry 10, in fact, is a very good operating system, and it's been well received on the whole by the techie crowd. But they failed to attract enough developers to develop new and exciting applications that consumers actually want to use. And as a result, we get to the middle of this year and BlackBerry's sitting there on $1 billion worth of unsold inventory, mostly Z10s.
And finally, Paul, I wanted to ask you, you've been at the Financial Times for some time. You've covered companies, businesses, and technology. Where does the BlackBerry story fit in within your experience?
I think it's an absolutely extraordinary story. I mean, I cannot remember a case when a company has gone from the peak of its game, which BlackBerry was certainly at, say, 5 to 7 years ago, to the position that the company now finds itself in, struggling to survive, if you like. Technology moves quickly, but this is really extraordinary. And I think if one had to look for the reasons for that, one would have to say the advent of the iPhone in 2007, really at the peak of BlackBerry's power, was a turning point. I think that BlackBerry underestimated the impact of the iPhone. The fact that management didn't react to that faster, I think, is absolutely crucial. And I think that when we look back on this, it's likely to be the sort of case study that business MBAs study at Harvard and other places as a case study of how not to manage a fast-moving technology company.